Let's just make sure the YouTube is awake, and then we'll be cooking. Wake up, YouTube. Yeah, there it goes. Yeah. Let's just make sure it's up, and then we're totally good. Come on, YouTube. Lucy. Hi, Lucy. Good morning. Yeah, we're here. What's up, everybody? I hope you are staying safe. I hope you are staying well. I hope you are staying home. It is May the 20th, Wednesday, May the 20th, in this quarantine year of our Lord 2020. I hope everything's going well for you. Sorry I'm a little late today. I know the show usually starts at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific, and we started a little later today. And I apologize for that. So some of you guys who have been following the show from the beginning, you know that I around this time of the year will get my annual migraines where I wake up and I just have a migraine, really. I just wake up and I have a migraine. I'm like, and then it just goes away. And it usually happens like during the transition to summer. I think it's my body just getting so excited about summer that it just gives me a headache. My body is just like, you love summer so much. Here's a headache. And I'm like, body, why are you doing that? In reality, it's probably the changing of seasons and I'm not hydrating enough. That's probably what it is. But I also think it's just my psyche getting so excited about summer that it just gives me a headache from all the excitement. So that happens to me every year, like clockwork, right around this time. And sometimes when it happens, I just need a little more time. Lucy, that's just water. Why are you excited about that? That's water. You have your own. You have water too, Lucy. Hi, Lucy. Hi, Lucy. This cat, so much energy. It's awesome. She just runs around constantly now. It's great. I mean, it's so cool. This cat has the type of energy. I'm not even embellishing, and I know you guys like I am a gushy fur parent whenever this topic comes up, and I apologize for it. If some of you are thinking, "Geez, it's a bit much," but others of you are like, "Ron, we're pet people too. We get it." But but she, I've said like she has the energy that she has had a couple years ago. I honestly, and I'm not even embellishing, I feel like she has the type of energy she had a decade ago. Like that is how much energy this cat has now. And it's awesome. It's so cool. But anyway, yeah, that's why I woke up Monday. We didn't do a show Monday because I woke up and I felt a little like, yeah, I just kind of need to not do a show today, and then eventually my headache went away. Tomorrow woke up feeling totally fine, totally normal. Show started, right on time. And then today I woke up and I was feeling it again. So I don't know. I mean, yeah, this time of year, it always gets me. Yeah, I mean, I'm not worried it's anything more severe. I don't think it's COVID or anything like that, knock on wood, but because this is something that happens to me this time of year, every year, as long as I've been living in California, and I feel like beyond that too. So I think it's like a seasonal thing. It's probably related to I'm just not drinking enough water, and then I eventually adjust, which is sad in many ways. I think I'm old enough at this point that I should know how to properly hydrate myself. I feel like that's sort of like barrier to entry in being a human, especially since there's no reason. Like, it's not like I don't have access to water. That'd be different. Although, speaking of which, there's some flooding going on in Michigan right now that we're going to be talking about. That's breaking news right now. But yeah, anyway, so I apologize. We're a little late today. That is why. And hopefully this goes away. But I guess there is a chance that within the next week or so, I might be starting a little later than usual. Just so you know, that's why. Again, I don't think it's anything more serious. But yeah, apologies for it. I'm going to let here. I'm practicing right now. So I got to make sure I do more of that before I go to bed, I think. I think that's what it is. But yeah, every year around this time, around Mayish going into I just get these headaches, and then sometimes in June too. Anyway, I'm just so excited for summer. My body's just like summertime, summertime, and the blood just too much rushes, and then I get a headache. That's absolutely ridiculous, but I stand by it. I stand by it. So, guys, another thing that was going on, I was texting back and forth with my cousin who lives in Michigan. Why were you doing that, Ron? Other than just saying hello in these quarantine times? Well, because Michigan is flooding right now, happening right now. The middle of Michigan is flooding. So let's check this out. Here's like the Twitter event. And then I have an article I wanted to highlight. So thousands have evacuated after multiple dams burst in Michigan. A state of emergency has been declared. About 10,000 residents have been evacuated in Michigan after two dams, the Edenville and Sanford Dam, collapsed following days of heavy rain. Michigan's Governor Gretchen Whitmer has advised residents to get somewhere safe now. I don't feel crazy confident in that. Just like, hey, this is the governor, get somewhere safe. Where should we? Are there any? Yeah, just go somewhere safe. Do you know somewhere safe? Have you heard of somewhere safe? Just get there. Go somewhere safe. After that, you're on your own. But just, I mean, it's crazy. We're in a pandemic. Things are getting crazier by the day. And over in Michigan, well, now they're flooded. Which, oh, by the way, Flint still doesn't have clean drinking water. So let's see what's going on here. So Michigan dam breach, rapidly rising water overtook dams. Enforced an evacuation of 10,000. So it is near Midland, Michigan. And according to, we're going to go to an article in a second. I think as of right now, as of the recording of this, and this flood is happening in real time, by the way, guys, this is breaking news. I don't think it has hit the city of Midland proper quite yet. It might have. It's happening now. But the article we're going to go to, and the river is called the Tittabawassee River, which is its actual name. I thought maybe that was I was looking at it and I was like Titty Boy River, what the hell? But no, that's the name of it. So anyway, that's going on, and let's go to this article from I just screwed up. Let me go ahead and Lucy, you got to move your tail just a little bit. I know it's so inconvenient. Let's get your news on with Rob. We'll get to this breaking thing that's happening right now that impacts people's lives as soon as I can move my cat's tail out of the way. This is why I need a producer. Someone needs to be on tail duty to keep the cat's tail away from my keyboard. All right, so check this out. Evacuations underway in mid-Michigan after Edenville Dam breaks. I have some cousins in the Ann Arbor area. They said this is about 2 hours from them. West of Saginaw, Michigan, around Midland, Michigan, for anyone wondering where that is. I'm not exactly sure. I think it's about middle. So I'm guessing if we're doing the hand thing that they do, it'd be like right around here. That's my, like around there. If we're doing like the Michigan hand jobby, But so rapidly rising water overtook dams and forced the evacuation of about 10,000 people in central Michigan. They're under the downtown. So the governor's saying that one downtown could be under approximately 9 feet of water by Wednesday. That's today. So this is happening in real time. For the second time in less than 24 hours, family living along the Tittabawassee, I'm sure I'm mispronouncing that, Tittabawassee River and connected lakes in Midland County were ordered to leave home. That's fun to say. Tittabawassee. You know who I want to hear say that? Beavis and Butthead. That's what Tittabawassee. I used to do a great Beavis and Butthead impression. When it was still on TV and it was appropriate because I was a child, but now I can't anymore. Brilliant show though. I love Beavis and Butthead. I'll always love Beavis and Butthead. The National Weather Service on Tuesday urged anyone near the river to seek higher ground following catastrophic dam failures at the Edenville Dam, which is about 140 miles north of Detroit, and the Sanford Dam, which is about 7 miles further downriver. Michigan Governor Gretchen said downtown Midland, which is a city of about 42,000 people, faced an especially serious flooding threat. In the next 12 to 15 hours, downtown Midland could be under approximately 9 feet of water. We are anticipating an historic high water level. And this is happening in real time. This is happening right now. So as of the recording of this, If you're watching this clip later, they might already be underwater. Flooding is happening in Michigan as we speak. Wow. Just, man, I mean, do you think, I mean, geez, I don't know. Maybe the Bible was right. And maybe, I mean, geez, first we have a pandemic, and then there were the murder hornets. Now some parts of the country are flooding. I mean, what if a bunch of locusts show up? I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Maybe, I'm a non-believer. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, geez, when's this gonna stop? So and shout out to everyone out there in Michigan. This is breaking right now. We'll continue to keep an eye on this here at the show, but right now it's just, man, I wish nothing but all the best for everyone in Michigan, and I hope everyone finds safety. It's kind of overwhelming when you just see, your elected officials be like, well, I get somewhere safe. I mean, what can we do right now? We're in a pandemic. And now there's flooding, and just seek higher ground where there's not flooding. And hopefully everyone is able to. Wow. Geesh. So that's the start of that's how we're starting our Wednesday, guys. That's hump day. There's a big freaking flood. A big freaking flood. Let's go to a little bit of good news. I think this is good news. So McDonald's strikes are continuing. There are still over 20 cities that are striking, 20 McDonald's in 20 different cities that are striking. Workers are striking. Workers are walking off site. And this is in protest of not getting adequate supplies, not being provided with hand sanitizer and gloves, not being provided with sick pay when they need it, not being given hazard pay. Although I think in this lawsuit we're about to go to, that's not even part of it. Just basic things workers shouldn't even have to ask for in a situation like this. And this is a common story. Amazon's not taking care of their workers. Whole Foods isn't taking care of their workers. McDonald's not taking care of their workers. Target's not taking care of their workers. And we're finding out these are the true essential workers. We're finding out who the essential workers are in our society. It's not a bunch of stock people over at Wall Street. It's not a bunch of venture capitalists. It's the people who keep the grocery stores open so that people can get food. It's the people who keep the pharmacies open so people can get their medicine. It's the people who manage the supply chains in our country and make sure those supplies get to where they're needed. Those are the essential workers. And these are the people who are being neglected the most, who aren't being given hazard pay. I mean, there should be at least time and a half. There should be limits to shifts. And any worker who is sick should be taken care of, no questions asked. And there should be proper equipment to ensure as much safety as possible. All those things should be no-brainers. And what are workers getting? None of them. None of them. I mean, we've covered stuff on this show. People are working these extreme shifts. It should be the total opposite. No shift should be more than about 4 hours max, because it's not safe right now. People are putting themselves in harm's way. There should be a system in place so that is minimized as much as possible for every worker, because not only is it the worker that's being put in harm's way, well, it's everyone else too. If someone's being overworked and they're more susceptible and they're more vulnerable, I mean, and they're stocking shelves, so they're doing whatever else that goes out to everyone else as well. So it's not safe for anyone involved. These corporations aren't just screwing over the workers, which is morally disgusting and completely ridiculous considering who keeps their business afloat. It's the workers, but it's also putting everyone else in danger too. So here's what's happening. Workers are filing a class action lawsuit against McDonald's over coronavirus precautions. And let me just go on the record by saying right now, I'll show where my bias is. I hope they get every single McDollar there is to get. I hope that Ronald gets to live in McPoverty. Not the actual person in the clown suit. You know what I mean? I'm being metaphorical. I don't mean You get it. Yeah. You know what I meant. Metaphorically, like the company. Yeah, you get it. I don't want well, you mean the guy that wears the suit? What's he have to do with it? No. I get it. But anyway, workers file class action lawsuit against McDonald's over coronavirus precautions. Let's see here. A group of McDonald's employees in Chicago on Tuesday filed a class action lawsuit alleging that the fast food chain failed to adopt government safety guidelines to protect workers amid the coronavirus outbreak. And I'm sure they're absolutely 110% right. We've seen enough evidence of it. The lawsuit argues McDonald's are failing to provide, this is all they're asking for, by the way, and they couldn't even get this, a sufficient amount of hand sanitizer, gloves, and masks. It also claims the company had contacted staff when an employee had tested positive for coronavirus. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? That's the same thing that happened in the Staten Island warehouse at Amazon. They weren't even telling people when employees were getting coronavirus. I mean, people are just, these workers are just asking for the most basic of human decency, and they're not getting it. And instead, they're getting an FU. Instead, Jeff Bezos is sending these employees, after he cuts their hazard pay, he's sending them T-shirts. Here's a T-shirt so you can advertise my business while you get sick and die so that I can make record-breaking profits. And McDonald's doing the same thing. There is more than one virus going around this country. There is another virus that is very deadly, and it's called capitalism. I mean, this is just glaring proof right in front of your face that our system is completely unsustainable. We can't handle anything resembling a pandemic because we're not set up to do it. Why? Because we have a structure that favors profit above all else. Human lives be damned. And when you have a pandemic, you can't handle it. And if we just go back to quote unquote normal, nothing's going to get fixed. Nothing. You know, I want to believe that we're going to take a better turn as a society after this is all over. It's hard to maintain that optimism too often. I mean, it really is. But I gotta maintain some hope that we're going to come out of this a stronger society for it. And when you see stuff like this is the stuff that gives me hope. Action taken by the people. You want my 2020 endorsement? I endorse General Strike 2020 because that's what we need. That's what it's going to take. It's going to take a mass general strike. And guys, I've said this before. I'm here. I'm a communication vehicle throughout this thing. That's what you want from your content creators. You want us to be communication vehicles. That's the function we serve. I want to serve it. I'm here to serve it. I'm here to serve it. At this time of year, I get my headaches. I mentioned that earlier. I get my migraines this time of year. So I might be 20 or 30 minutes later, and it's not going to be early in the morning. That's not my jam. But I'm here. Lucy's here. She'll wag her tail and hopefully not in the place. Her tail's like right on the keyboard right now. If I wanted to type a number, I couldn't do it. Her tail's like, nope, you're not doing that. I got my tail. But she's kind of chill right now. I played with her a little bit. Again, she has this big resurgence of energy, so I play with her right before the show starts to kind of, so she's not like too wound up and pumping the microphone, because these days she's just like, yeah, I'm up. What's up? What are we doing? I got all kinds of energy. I can make jumps that I couldn't make for a long time because I don't weigh as much now. Look at me go. And then there's me. I'm the total, like whatever she's got going down, I got the opposite of it, man. Which I don't like it that way. I wanna match her energy, But I feel like this is quarantine is really her wheelhouse, whereas for me, not so much. And I'm like, I'm getting my yearly headaches. I'm having trouble keeping my weight down amidst quarantine, which is true. I'm getting a little husky. I know it. But man, I actually said this to Lucy the other day. I was like, yeah, you lost weight. I found it. And I was expecting her to be like, you look great, which she didn't say that because, she's a cat. But and if you want to see her webcomic, LucyandRon.com, check out LucyandRon.com. So let's see if there's anything else in this article. Getting back to the lawsuit, if you will. Uh, let's see. The lawsuit comes as concerns persist over how restaurants, warehouses, factories, and other essential businesses are ensuring that employees remain safe. A worker advocacy group in April filed a lawsuit accusing Smithfield Foods Inc. of creating a public nuisance by not protecting employees at one of its plants in Milan, Missouri. I didn't know there was a Milan, Missouri. That's interesting. I always like it's so interesting where like there's all these places in rural America that are named after like Paris, Texas, Milan, Missouri. Anyway, in California, 3 McDonald's workers have filed administrative actions with the California Division of Occupational Safety and Health, alleging unsafe conditions. I hope they win. I hope they win so hard that McDonald's has to become a workers' co-op. I hope that's what happens. And if that does happen, I will go eat there. I have not eaten at a McDonald's in years for a number of reasons. One of the reasons being I just, I don't really care for their food. But I will go and I will find, I don't know, what would I get? When I used to go, so when I was like a hardcore road dog and I was touring about 40 some weeks a year, I would go to a McDonald's somewhat regularly because McDonald's has really good Wi-Fi, or at least they did. So if I wanted to like do emails and stuff like that, McDonald's was a good place to go. I've even done a couple of YouTube videos at McDonald's once. I would like sit in the corner and the Wi-Fi would be just good enough to do like a short stream or something. I think that's all out there somewhere. But usually when I would go, I would just get a cup of coffee, or I would get one of those fruit and yogurt things. I would get that. Or I would get like just a hash brown. I don't, there's not a lot of stuff there that's really appealing to me to eat. But if they become a workers' co-op, I will go there and I will get, I guess I'll get fries. I mean, that can't, like whatever, fries. I'll get fries, I guess. I don't know what I'll get. Maybe I would say I'd get their ice cream, but apparently in their ice cream, they put that that weird, like fake, not really sugar stuff in it. That's kind of like, and that stuff doesn't agree with me. But I'll figure something out. Yeah, I would figure. I'm not worried. I'd figure that they probably have stuff I don't even know about. You can get like a frozen fruit bar now. It's a Mick, it's a Mick sorbet or something. They probably have. Who knows? But anyway, I hope the workers win, and I hope they win big. That's what I hope. All right. So, that's happening. And do you ever see an article where you're just like, "Ha! I'm not the only person who feels this way. I am not the only person who feels this way. Somebody else feels this way. It's somebody else who couldn't be published in the United States. The Guardian had to publish this article, but check it out. Check this out. Andrew Cuomo's no hero. He's to blame for New York's coronavirus catastrophe. Man, right away, I am in. I am so in. This was written by Lada Gold and Nathan Robinson, which shout out to, but I'm not familiar with either one of them. I'm not familiar with any other articles they wrote. I don't know anything about them. But this article, thank you both for writing it. His record was terrible before coronavirus, but his abysmal handling of the crisis should get him thrown out of office. Amidst all the Cuomo worship, and what did he do? He spoke competently in front of a camera. He's a governor. He's an elected official. You would think speaking competently in front of a camera is kind of like a basic prereq. That's sort of like if you were applying for a job, there'd be like basic job requirements. You know how there's like basic requirements and then preferred requirements? Like basic requirements. You can talk in front of a camera and appear competent. You have a basic understanding of policies in the world around you. You have a basic understanding of science or whatever. Preferred qualifications. You're not a complete bought and paid for shill. I don't know. That should be under basic qualifications as far as I'm concerned. But here in the United States, that's asking a lot. But Andrew, so here's the article. Andrew Cuomo may be the most popular politician in the country, which baffles some people. Me, the people who wrote this article, probably you, because you're watching this show. And hey, guess what? We're not completely alone. There's two people at The Guardian who feel the same way. His approval ratings have hit all-time high, blah, 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 blah. And some Democrats have discussed him as a possible replacement for Joe Biden. Because why even entertain the fantasy that we have a democracy anymore. We can just anoint somebody as the candidate. We might just anoint Andrew Cuomo. Chances are the convention, which is now slated for August in Milwaukee, it's not going to be some full convention. It's going to be an abbreviated thing. What exactly it's going to be, I don't know yet. No one knows yet. But it's going to be something very abbreviated. And so they're just saying, well, maybe we'll just anoint somebody. I mean, it's not like there were other candidates in the race. It's not like there was an actual primary where there were other candidates who got votes. So maybe if Biden is unfit to run, which he is unfit to run, by the way, he's totally unfit to run. Maybe somebody else who was also in the race should be the nominee, or perhaps we should vote again, or perhaps, I mean, we couldn't do anything like that. Why should we entertain the idea that there was actually a real primary? Let's just anoint somebody, and man, let's anoint Andrew Cuomo. Well, maybe that's ridiculous, because it is. And not only is it ridiculous because it just thumbs its nose at the fantasy that we have a democratic process, but also because this guy ain't all that great. Oh, and I guess some people are saying he has sex appeal, according to this article. I'm not going to click that link. I don't even want to freaking know. But here's what this article has to say. All of this is bizarre for a number of reasons, as we pointed out, because Cuomo should be among the most loathed politicians in America right now. ProPublica recently released a report outlining catastrophic missteps by Cuomo and Bill de Blasio, which probably resulted in many thousands of needless coronavirus cases. ProPublica offers some appalling numbers contrasting what happened in New York with the outbreak in California. We were handling it in California before they were in New York. By mid-May, New York alone had almost 20,000 deaths. California had only 35. And New York State as a whole suffered 10 times as many deaths as California. Federal failures played a role, blah, 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 blah. All right, so let's get to what he did. Cuomo would blame the press. All right. So first of all, Cuomo didn't shut down initially. He said the seasonal flu was a graver worry. A spokesperson for Cuomo refused to say if the governor had ever read the state's pandemic plan. Later, Cuomo would blame the press, including the New York Times, for failing to be careful. There's a virus in China that may be in the United States. So he basically wasn't preparing for this, saying the flu was a bigger threat. And he blamed the press for this. Even though the Times had written, according to this article, the Times had wrote nearly 500 stories on the virus before the state acted. So the New York Times, 500 stories about the coronavirus before New York did anything. California, by the way, already acting. So let's see. Experts told ProPublica that New York imposed extreme social, blah, 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 blah. But the delay was not the only screw-up. Elderly prisoners have died of coronavirus because New York had failed to act on medical parole requests. Testing was slow. The governor had failed to take responsibility for the obvious failures, constantly blaming others. And even at one point saying governors don't do pandemics. I know this is my job. I don't want to do it, though. And the article says, actually, some governors just don't read their state's pandemics plans. Let's see. So instead, he's doing all these stunts. Oh, and by the way, here they get to his Medicaid cuts. Before the coronavirus, Andrew Cuomo was cutting Medicaid substantially, which helped lead, which of course did not help the outbreak. Another thing this article doesn't point out, he's been screwing over the homeless population as hard as possible since 2017. This is all stuff Andrew Cuomo's been doing that has aided in making New York a hotbed, and that's putting it gently, for coronavirus. Now, look, I know that New York is also the most densely populated place in the country. Obviously, that's why their numbers are going to be bigger than anyone's regardless. But all of these basic measures and proper precautions that should and could have been taken were not taken by Andrew Cuomo. So it is so much worse than it could have been had he done anything. And had he not done all these horrible things over the years. And as the article pointed out, it's because of, here, let me find this. Here, I think it's later in the article. They go on to say how he screwed over any progressive legislation. because of this. Okay, here we go. Cuomo's record was shameful long before coronavirus began. He enabled the IDC, Independent Democratic Conference, a group of conservative Democratic state lawmakers, in allying with the Republican minority to block progressive legislation. Before the pandemic, he pushed through Medicaid cuts, which shut down necessary hospital space in the name of efficiency, despite the warnings of medical professionals. And on April 3rd, as 3,000 New Yorkers already lay dead from the virus and hospitals like Elmhurst and Queens were overwhelmed with cases, Cuomo forced through further Medicaid budgets, slashing $400 million from hospital budgets. So while people are patting this guy on the back because he talked nice in front of a camera, and because him and his Fredo brother have these goofy brotherly tiffs on CNN, and it's so funny. They're like, they're brothers. They're Italian-American brothers. He's slashing Medicaid. He's screwing over hospitals. Just like over here in California, Gavin Newsom's posing for the camera, making sure his hair looks just right. And the guy does have great hair. I'm not going to say he doesn't. But while he's doing that, and he's sending ventilators across the country, which of course is a good thing, but while he's doing that simultaneously, proper equipment is not being given to nurses in Los Angeles. One of them died because of it. Riverside's not getting the equipment they need. And he's approving the permits for, I believe, up to 25 fracking wells. It was at least 23. It might have been up to 25 fracking wells. This is the last thing California needs right now, fracking. Gavin Newsom's pushing it through because people aren't paying as much attention. As the state now staggers to its feet, getting back to the article here, Cuomo has partnered with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation to reimagine education, which almost certainly means privatization. Why is this guy not just a Republican? Well, because we have two right-wing parties, Ron. We have two right-wing parties. All right. Thank you so much for writing this. Thank you so much. Let's go into the last paragraph here, because this is just this is one of those things where you're like, I'm not alone. I'm not alone. That's the whole point. That should just be the subheading of Get Your News On with Ron in general. For all of us, we're not alone. We're not alone. You know, I'm not an investigative journalist. That's not, I'm just a dude who gets his news on with his cat on YouTube. And some of you like to get your news on with me. That's what this show's about. And you walk away from it and you feel like, wow, I'm not the only person who feels this way. I'm not the only person who sees the world this way. I feel a little less alone. I feel a little less like I'm yelling down a well. And articles like these, hey, we're not. I sent this article to my entire family with a big smiley face in the subject line. There's something disturbing about Cuomo being hailed as the hero of a pandemic when he should rightly be one of the villains. God, I want to get that plastered on a subway in New York City. I want to get that billboard up in New York City. There's something disturbing about Cuomo being held as the hero of the pandemic when he should rightly be one of the villains. Thank you. I'm tweeting that quote and tweeting this article after the show. By the way, my headache feels completely better. I feel great right now. Yeah. As Business Insider notes, he is now only able to attain praise for his actions because his earlier failures made those actions necessary. So he did all this screwing up, so now he has to do these things to make up for it, and people are praising him. He's lauded for addressing the problem that he himself partly caused. Now, of course, part of this is because Donald Trump has bungled the coronavirus response even more badly. Absolutely. So that Cuomo, by not being a complete buffoon, looks like a capable statement by contrast. But this is the problem. For too long, Democrats have measured their politicians by whether they are better than Republicans. This sets the bar very low indeed, and means that Democrats end up settling for incompetent and amoral leaders who betray progressive values again and again and again. Mic drop. I'm not going to drop this. This would hurt the mic, and it has to. I'm not dropping this, but metaphorically, boom, Lucy. Yeah, that's a mic drop. She's stoked. She's right here. Can't see her. Oh, feel a little less alone. Beautiful prose. Thank you so much for writing that article. And here's the thing. Staying on that theme, when you're only measuring your politicians by are they as absolutely ridiculous and appalling as Republicans? And if they're not, let's just praise them when they don't deserve it. Here is resistance hero. I mean, really, that's what we got to call it at this point. Resistance hero, Joe Biden. Check out this tweet. During today's Senate Banking Committee hearing, Secretary Stephen Mnuchin, who is a criminal, refused to require corporations benefiting from the $500 billion in CARES Act funds to keep workers on their payrolls. E. Warren asked him several times, and each time he ducked and refused. Elizabeth Warren asked him, hey, are you going to keep workers on your payrolls? We're giving you all this money. And he refused to answer that. And she asked him nicely. She said, pretty please. Well, what should we do about this, Joe? That's exactly why Liz Warren and I have called for more oversight. Not direct relief to people, not Medicare for all, not a real relief package that actually incorporates citizens of a country. Instead of thinking, hey, maybe we shouldn't just give the banks a bunch of money and say, hey, you're going to help the poor's, right? And then go on vacation. Maybe we should actually have relief packages that relieve people, regular people, not just big corporations. No, Joe's saying we just need more oversight. We need more Liz Warrens asking them nicely to keep workers on their payroll, asking them nicely to give some of this trillions to workers. We need more people asking them nicely. And then here he shares this article. Fundamentally, this is about whose side the government is on and whether it is accountable to the American people. It's not. This is a case I will continue to make, and if elected president, will deliver on. This is something I'll continue to give lip service to. And if elected president, I'll give lip service to it more. Here's something that, by the way, and I've done this before, I'm not doing it anymore. Don't like a politician's tweet. Don't retweet a politician. Don't do it. Unless you're retweeting it to comment in a critical sense. So I guess retweeting is okay, but don't like their tweets. Don't like them. Don't like their tweets. And this doesn't just go for Joe Biden. This doesn't go for just Joe Biden or Liz Warren. This goes for everybody. Everybody. That includes AOC. That includes Ilhan Omar. That includes Tulsi Gabbard. That includes Bernie Sanders. It includes everybody. Ro Khanna. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Don't like their tweets. Don't do it. Because you know what? At this point, I feel like there's an institute of appeasement within our government where they tweet really nice things. They tweet these good ideas for relief packages and things that we actually need. And then when push comes to shove, they don't fight for them in legislation. We've seen that time and time again. We need to cancel rent. Yes, we do. We need $2,000 a month for citizens. Yes, we do. And then do they fight for it in relief package after relief package after relief package? No, they don't. And we get another relief package where they just give money to the banks. They just give money to the banks. They give money to the corporations and say, well, you can give loans to people, right? And they say maybe, and the government says, okay. Here's my impression of a Republican during this pandemic. Hey, banks, here's a bunch of money. Here's trillions. Are you going to help the peons and the plebs? No, we're probably not. And the Republican says, okay, that's cool. We actually are hoping you don't anyway. And here's my impression of the Democrats. Hey, here's a bunch of money, banks, and that's cool. Here's trillions. Are you going to help out the plebs and the peons? No, we're probably not. Well, that's not very nice. We don't care. All right. Well, we don't really care either, but we're going to tweet about this. We're going to tweet about this. We're going to put out some not nice tweets about you. And people are going to think we're fighting. Stop liking their tweets. Just don't like. You can retweet it and criticize it. I want every politician, whenever they look at their Twitter, to be like, no one's liked my tweets. Every tweet a politician puts out should be ratioed. Every single one. Even if it's a good one. Even if it's because the ratio should be, what are you doing to make sure this happens? Where's legislation I can point to? Where is a bill that I can call my representative and say, support this bill now, and I can flood their voicemail box and flood their inbox saying, support this now. Where's the legislation? Where is it? That's what every tweet put out by any elected official should have. No likes, 0 likes, just retweets with criticisms when appropriate, and then ratioed underneath saying, what are you doing for this? Because otherwise, you're going to get more of this. You're going to get more of, well, we're just going to give the banks everything, but they should be nicer. Or you're going to get Republicans who just go, we don't care. We don't care. And Joe Biden doesn't care either. This is just lip service, but he won't even go far enough to say we should give relief directly to the people. He won't even go that far. Because again, as the last segment pointed out, that's what happens when your only bar for your elected officials is, oh, they're not quite as brutal as Republicans in words. Andrew Cuomo is a hero because he can talk nice in front of the camera, even though he helped cause a lot of these problems by kneecapping any progressive legislation and screwing over the people in New York the same way a Republican would, the exact same way, because he was allies with the Republicans. But he talks nice when the cameras are on, so he's our guy. And by the way, Joe Biden can't even clear that hurdle. Like, oh, we want a nicer talking Republican. Joe Biden can't even meet that bar. He can't even meet it. It's just empty lip service. And it's barely even that because he won't even go. He still vows to veto Medicare for all. Anyway, that's the resistance, baby. They got this. Let me see what you guys are saying. And guys, by the way, I got to give a shout out. I got to give a shout out to some of the folks that help make Get Your News On With Ron possible. ZT.com, ZHITEA.com. Their tea kind of rules. Are you looking for some tea during this pandemic? I know I've been drinking tea every day. You want to drink tea during a pandemic like this because it's good for you. And having the hot liquid is good for you, especially after you were out. You know, that's how it goes. So do that. ZT.com. If you want to get some great tea, you can get their wholesale stuff. ZT.com, ZHITEA.com. It is an independent tea shop run by a lefty who's a friend of the show, who has sent me a lot of great tea. And I appreciate it very much. Also, you know, I'm dealing with my migraines. I got to give a shout out to my friends over at Trendy as Dabbers. Their oil, their pain oil has helped me a great deal. So I thank them very much for that. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Sorry I was a little late again. Man, this is the Ron headache season. So we might be a little late here and there, but I'm going to try to make sure that I always start at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. That's our regular time. But yeah, I had that thing today and now I feel fine. I feel totally fine now. But yeah, when I first wake up, I just get these migraines and it always happens this time of year, like clockwork. It happens every single May. Sometimes it happens like it starts like mid-April. I think it's a hydration thing. I'm not going to rehash it, but I think it's a hydration thing. And so anyway, yeah, that's been hitting me hard a little bit this week. That's why we didn't have a show on Monday. That's why today's show was a little bit later. Yesterday, I felt totally normal. So anyway, I appreciate your patience. I appreciate your understanding. I hope you are staying safe. I hope you are staying well. I hope you are staying home. I hope all your dreams are coming true. Why not? Guys, thanks so much for being here. And Kate, you're saying you have a super chat. I don't see it. I don't have a super chat from you. Here, just type it in and I'll just type it in and I'll read it. But I don't have any super chats from you. It might be that, man. Occasionally YouTube does that. Occasionally YouTube does that to me too. They say it's a browser thing. They say I got to clear my browser when that happens. So I tweeted YouTube. Let's see. I was just saying that Gretchen Whitmer is a terrible VP choice. Okay. Did that just happen? Is there something I don't know about? She's not. Joe Biden didn't declare her VP, did he? Is there something I don't know about? Oh, they're talking. They're talking. Okay. So I just Googled this. So I guess Gretchen Whitmer is having some conversations with the Joe Biden campaign about the vice president spot. All right. Well, I guess we'll see. Yeah, yeah. So you're saying that's a bad pick. Yeah, I'm with you. So she is on the short list. Do we really know who the short list is? I mean, I still think Stacey Abrams. That's still my prediction. I'm sticking with it. I still predict Stacey Abrams. Now, I know there was that incredibly hilarious MSNBC segment. That was a really funny segment where Stacey Abrams, she thought he was going to make the announcement and then he just didn't. And oh man, it was so funny. She looked like she just wanted to walk away. Like she had this look on her face. Like she's like, if I just walk away, would they notice? I still think it's, and I'm not saying I want it to be. I don't. I mean, I don't think Gretchen Whitmer would be a good choice. I don't think Stacey Abrams would be a good choice. I don't think he's going to make a good choice though. So I'm just making a prediction. I still predict it's going to be Stacey Abrams. Even though there was that super funny thing on MSNBC, I think that was kind of like a screen test. And if it gets the kind of response they're hoping for, which is basically MSNBC viewers approve of it, which they do. I mean, MSNBC is generally, all about Stacey Abrams. I think it's going to be her. I could be totally wrong. It's just my guess. I'm guessing Stacey Abrams. Could be totally wrong. I don't think it's going to be Gretchen Whitmer, though. I think that he's going to want somebody with a little more. He's going to want someone that has a reasonable national footprint. And especially right now, with her state's flooding, so that could be some difficulty in Michigan come the general, and Biden's going to want somebody who's going to help him win Michigan. He's not going to want to, like the Democrats aren't going to want to lose Michigan again. So I don't think it's going to be Gretchen Whitmer. I think that when you said that, I thought, oh man, did he announce? And I don't know, but I still think it's going to be Stacey Abrams. Could be wrong. I think Kamala is possible. I think it's unlikely, but I think it's possible. But yeah, I'm thinking it's going to be Stacey Abrams. I mean, it's going to be someone terrible. Yeah, I mean, of course, it goes without saying. But my prediction, just as a prediction, I'm saying Stacey Abrams. But anyway, guys, thanks so much for being here. You know the drill. Lucy says meow. I say peace. We'll be back tomorrow, and yeah, it'll be. I have a guest tomorrow. Graham Elwood's going to be on the show tomorrow. Graham and I are going to be doing our thing together tomorrow. We're going to be getting our news on together. So Graham's going to get his news on with Ron, and we're all going to get our news on with Ron. And I'm going to get my news on with Graham, and you get it. So we'll be kicking off at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific, and I'll be drinking a bunch of water right before bed, so that I get to pee a bunch throughout the night. Thanks for your patience. Thanks for bearing with me. You know the drill. Lucy says meow. I say peace. Peace.